In an era defined by constant change, some crises arrive slowly, gradually at first, then all at once. Retirement is one of them, a word that once evoked palm trees, leisurely mornings, and a lifetime of well-earned rest is rapidly becoming a financial mirage, and yet, despite mounting evidence that they simply can't afford it, millions of people are walking out of the workforce anyway. They're retiring into uncertainty, driven by exhaustion, layoffs, health issues, or simply the fear that if they wait any longer, there won't be anything left to enjoy. This is the quiet exodus reshaping the economy, and it's happening right in front of us. It begins with a demographic shift that's been decades in the making. This year, a record number of Americans will turn 65. Next year, that record will be broken again. The baby boomer generation, once the dominant force in the workforce, is aging out. Retirement has long loomed on the horizon. Now it's here. The problem is, the money isn't. The savings gap is massive. Inflation has chewed through purchasing power, pensions have vanished, and financial illiteracy has left entire swaths of the population dangerously unprepared. Incredibly, over 20% of people nearing retirement age have no savings at all, not a dime. But that's not stopping them from retiring, because for many, the choice has been made for them. In Milwaukee County, the number of residents aged 50 and over rose 22% in the past decade. It's a familiar story across the U.S. People in their 50s should be at their peak earning potential, socking away retirement contributions. Instead, more than half worry they'll run out of money before they die. For many, the golden years look more like a cliff. A recent study by the Retirement Income Institute, dubbed the Peak Boomer Impact Study, tried to capture the scope of what's happening. It found that between now and 2030, some 30 million Americans will retire, nearly one-fifth of the U.S. labor force. Half of those surveyed had less than $250,000 in assets, and for many, that figure included the value of their home. The upshot? Millions are relying on Social Security as their sole income. That is, assuming it still holds up under the weight of mass retirement. Skeptics might question the study's motives. It was commissioned by a firm that sells annuities. But no matter how you slice it, the numbers are alarming. We're witnessing a retirement tsunami, people leaving jobs voluntarily or otherwise at unprecedented levels. Pew Research confirms that the largest wave of retirements has already happened. It was accelerated by COVID, remote work, layoffs, stimulus checks, and sheer burnout. Many people simply didn't want to return to a plague-infested office. This isn't just an American problem. Other countries, many with older populations and stronger social safety nets, are feeling the pressure too. But what sets the U.S. apart is the brutal economic inequality baked into the system. Some retirees are wealthy beyond imagination. They own vacation homes, sip rosé in gated communities, and shuffle around golf courses in $15,000 a year retirement villages. These are the retirees we see on postcards, but they are not the average. The average baby boomer is less prepared. Many will work longer than they expected, not by choice, but because they have to. Others will try and fail to re-enter the workforce after being pushed out, and that's where the story turns grim. According to the Transamerica Center for Retirement Studies, most Americans retire 5 years earlier than they plan to. But don't mistake that for a leisurely head start. In most cases, early retirement is involuntary, driven by layoffs, health issues, or age discrimination. Since 2016, more than half of workers over 50 have lost their jobs involuntarily. Once they're out, it's incredibly difficult to claw back in. Companies are reluctant to hire older employees, assuming they can't use tech, won't last long, or won't tolerate exploitation like their younger counterparts. Legally, age discrimination is prohibited, but in practice, it's alive and well. HR departments can simply prefer someone younger. And just like that, a 55-year-old professional with 30 years of experience is pushed out, forced to choose between financial hardship and a retirement they can't afford. So what happens next? For some, it's denial. They keep spending, racking up credit card debt, or drawing down savings faster than expected. Others turn to what remains: Social Security, part-time jobs, or family support. Still others embrace retirement early, rationalizing that if the math won't ever work, they might as well enjoy what health and freedom they still have. Better to live well at 65 than survive miserably at 85, goes the unspoken logic. But that freedom comes at a cost, and someone will pay it. The children of retirees, especially those from lower income backgrounds, are inheriting the burden. Many adult children are now caring for aging parents, not just emotionally, but financially. The burden often falls disproportionately on working-class families who already struggle with stagnating wages, student debt, and rising costs of living. They delay their own goals, home ownership, children, saving for retirement, because they're covering prescriptions, rent, or groceries for mom or dad. This creates a vicious cycle. When people can't save because they're supporting their elders, they too fall behind. And unless something changes, their children will eventually carry the same burden for them. On the other side of the wealth spectrum, some retirees are pulling off the dream. The financial independence, retire early, FIRE movement has created a niche cohort of young, well-compensated professionals retiring in their 30s or 40s by aggressively investing and cutting costs. But this group is minuscule. For every young tech worker sipping kombucha in Bali, there are millions of retirees struggling to make ends meet. And so governments face a dilemma. Do they raise retirement ages, effectively forcing people to work longer? Some countries already have. But this too is fraught, because retirees vote, and proposing later retirement is political suicide. In the US, the solution has been to gradually increase retirement thresholds for younger generations who aren't paying attention yet. By the time they notice, it'll be too late. Meanwhile, benefits erode. Government pensions and programs haven't kept pace with inflation. Healthcare and assisted living costs continue to soar. The poverty rate among those over 65 is rising, and older Americans returning to the workforce often land in minimum wage jobs, if they can work at all. These jobs are physically demanding and highly monitored, a brutal proposition for seniors with chronic conditions. It's no wonder many older workers are instead relying on their families. And that dependency creates stress, not just emotional, but economic. When parents move in with children, space becomes tight. Schedules adjust, work is missed, savings vanish. Sometimes siblings argue, relationships strain, resentment brews. And yet we often hear retirement painted as a finish line, a reward, a time of rest. For many, that idea now feels like fiction. So where does that leave us? In the end, the video's narrator cuts to the chase. If you're still working, if you're younger, healthier, or still earning, assume there won't be anything waiting for you. No pension, no magical payout, maybe not even reliable social security. That's not defeatism, that's realism. The systems we rely on are buckling under the weight of demographics, debt, and denial. If you want security, you'll have to build it yourself. That means setting aside money, whatever you can, in retirement accounts. Educating yourself, planning early. Not assuming someone else will do it for you, it's bleak. But it's also a wake-up call. Because while the headlines scream about record retirements, the real story is what's coming next. A generation that can't afford to stop working, trying to survive in a world that's quietly stopped caring. So, what do you think? Should governments intervene more aggressively in retirement security? Or is it up to individuals to fend for themselves? Is retirement still a goal or a luxury of the past? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more no-nonsense deep dives into how money really works.